Tonight, it's Live with Vince Eliot. Live with Vince Eliot. Tonight on Live with Vince Eliot. From Channel 7 Action News, it's photojournalist Jeremy Johnson. And everybody's favorite, Abby Adams. Let's get it. What's up, everybody? It's Vince with Live with Vince Eliot. Yeah, I'm back. Listen, I am so excited today because I got a close personal friend of mine who's going to be joining us today, and he's going to be telling us some things that we might not know. You think you know, but you don't know what really goes on behind the scenes. So we're not going to get to see everything, but I'm telling you what we're going to see today is going to enlighten you and answer some questions. And I told you in the promo, I'm going to ask him some questions that I think we all want to know. What in the world is going on when we see those people on camera that should not be on camera? So we're going to turn the camera on to the cameraman, and we're going to have some fun with it, ask him a bunch of questions, get to learn some things today. My man Jeremy Johnson is here from Channel 7 Action News. Yes, sir. But before we do that, I'm going to let you guys, we're going to switch it up a little bit. I was going to let you hear Abby Adams today, but I thought that I would show some love to my man Damon Terrell. A lot of you guys may not have seen or heard him before, and so we're going to allow him to come on and play a bit for us that he played several weeks ago. I want you guys to check him out. Hey everybody, Vince Eliot saying thank you for tuning in. Real quick, I wanted to invite you to become partners with us and contribute to our success. Our success is your success. One way that you can do that is by subscribing to our YouTube page, The Vince Eliot. Click on the notification so that you are notified when we go live or upload new content. Secondly, please share this broadcast with your family, friends, contacts, Craig and them, Cud and them, share with everybody. Lastly, you can contribute to the success of the broadcast with a financial contribution of only $1.25 a week, $5 a month, or $60 contribution for the year by using the Cash App information that's on the screen, $ live with Vince Eliot. So thank you for helping us to bring information, education, inspiration, motivation, and yes, a few laughs to the world. Oh. Thank you. Yes, we are back. I am back. You're back. Hello to everyone. Thank you for joining me on Live with Vince Eliot. I am Vince Eliot, the one and only, and I am always happy to be here. That's why I'm smiling, man, because I love just doing this show. I love the interaction. I love that we bring you information, education, inspiration, motivation. Yeah, and sometimes we bring you a few laughs. What's up to SC Hayes from South Florida? Stephanie, thank you for checking in. Stephanie has been a loyal supporter in many ways. And listen, before I even get into it, I want to let you guys know that I need your participation tonight. I want you guys asking my guest questions. But before we even do that, right now, you know what I'm going to ask you to do? Share, because if you share it right now, people can jump in and they can find out, and what's going on and talk to our guest via the chat before we get too deep into the conversation. So let's go ahead and take about 10 seconds right now. Just look for that share button at the bottom. Go ahead and share that with all your Facebook friends, YouTube posse, whatever you need to do. All right, everybody shared it? Okay, all right, good. I'm glad you shared it real quick. And then the other thing I need you guys to do, I'm going to talk more about this later, is we have got some things we got to accomplish to take the show to the next level. I'm telling you, there's so much I want to do in terms of providing you more content, preparation, and I need some help to do it. The only way I can do that is I got to be able to pay for some of these things, and I need you guys to help us get it to the level where we can get sponsors. So I need your financial support as well. Many of you have done that already. Thank you. Stephanie's on here, by the way, from Florida, and she's been a contributor. I appreciate your financial help. And those of you, I won't start naming names, but she's in here right now. Thank you guys for your contributions. I appreciate that. Those of you who have been thinking about it on the fence, forgot, whatever, go ahead and do that. Use a couple ways you can give. You can do the Cash App, which I will put back up on the screen. And I got to get me some more music going, man. I don't like talking without no music. There we go. I'm going to put the Cash App back up on the screen. That's another way that you can contribute is through the Cash App. I'm sorry, that's one way you can contribute. The second way is you can go to the GoFundMe page and you can search for The Vince Eliot, which is ironically the name, well, not ironically, but it's the same name that you can use to subscribe, because that's the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is go to YouTube and subscribe and search for The Vince Eliot. Now that's something you can do whether, you strap for cash right now or not. And even if, you say, I want to help, but I don't have a whole lot. Hey, I told you, $1 a quarter a week, $5 a month, $60 for the year, or you can give $1,000. I won't be mad at you for giving $1,000. It's all right. It's great. You can give more than that if you want to. However, we're going to get into the show tonight. I want you guys to get ready because we do a lot of behind the scenes. I got a fruit fly in here. He's just loving me. It's my little pet. I got my guy on today. We talk a lot about behind the scenes and what we do as me being a producer. I'm always behind the scenes, behind the camera. I was out, checking out a location scout today with a client. So I want you guys to get your questions ready. What is it that you want to know about what goes on behind the scenes at the news station? You know what you see at 6 and 11 and all that type of thing, but what goes on to get things ready behind the scenes, and why do they do the things they do? Well, today I'm going to, do as I normally do. I'm going to fade this music on out, and I'm going to bring on my guest the way I like to do, which is the right way. Y'all know how we do it. We go ahead and get him pumped up and make sure we bring him in right. Y'all ready? Ladies and gentlemen, my guest for tonight is the man in front of the camera, behind the camera, on the side of the camera. He knows how to edit. He knows how to shoot. He knows how to do it all. Lighting. I mean, he is just around the way, producer, director, you name it. He does it all. Known as a photojournalist for Channel 7 Action News in Detroit, Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one, the only, Jeremy Johnson. There you go. Shout out to all your fans, the people that just waiting to see you come on. You heard the crowd in the background. Yep. That's just simulating what my people would do who's watching online. And first of all, let me just say welcome to the show. Thank you for taking out time of your day to come on. I'm sure there's other things you could have been doing, and you took out this 6 hours that we're going to be on to talk to me. So, appreciate it. Also, for the people that are watching, we got people watching on replay as well, and you're welcome to put in comments too, because they'll be watching on replay. I'll be replaying this as well. But my people who are watching live, go ahead and put in the comments, where you're watching from. Stephanie says she's from Florida. Other people, go ahead and let us know where you're watching from. And Jeremy, I'm gonna let you. Maybe I didn't do you justice by introducing you. Is there anything that you want to say in terms of who you are and what you do?
Well. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You tried to make it seem like you froze. You got my audience. You didn't get me.
Okay, no, I didn't get you. Okay, all right. No, you hit everything on all cylinders, and that's pretty much it. You kind of have to be jack of all trades. Down through the years, they've kind of changed the title, like you said, videographer. But a couple years ago, like starting like 2010, here comes along. Well, maybe you know them as a VJ, but they call them MMJs. Mm-hmm. So there's multimedia journalists. And so that multi part is definitely in that acronym, because you got to be able to do it all. Edit, drive yourself, shoot yourself, do stand up, frame yourself up. You got to be able to do that. So sometimes that comes into play every once in a while. And it's a useful tool to be able to do. So I was by myself today, and I had to do everything, get all the interviews and shoot everything and all that good stuff. So,
well, we're gonna get into exactly what you do to find out what a photojournalist does. But you did mention hey, you do the editing, you do the shooting, you do it all. And I'm interested to find out what type of challenges you run into. We'll get into that in a second. Okay. But I just want to bring out some personal things. I mean, I wouldn't tell your business, nothing that you don't want me to share, but I want to bring out some personal things that people may not know. I mean, it's just more than the mechanics of doing the job. Yeah. But I've worked with you personally and still do in different capacities. And one in particular, because we go to the same church, and you're the head of the media department over there. And so, one thing that I can say is working with you, it's pretty incredible in terms of the fact that this particular type of job is, I don't want to say it's thankless, because it depends on who you're working with, but it's one of those jobs that people really notice you when things don't go right. Oh, yeah. When things are going well, I mean, nobody's thinking about you. It's just like, I expect to see the video running right. I expect to be able to hear people right. And so not that we don't want to. I mean, shout out to the people who handle the audio.
I'm telling you, but you're right. You hit the nail on the head, because every single time it's like something's going wrong, or this didn't cue right up on the projector or something like that, and that's when you get the let's give it up for the videography ministry in the back. Like, okay, you know what? I'm picking up on the passive aggressiveness, please.
Yeah. No. And it's not that we looking for praise and nothing like that. It's sort of like, the parent who always tell you when you're messing up, but they never tell you when when you're doing something right. It's like, it's not that I need my ego stroked. It's just that I don't only want to hear from you when something's going wrong. Yeah. So the other thing that people may not know is when the Detroit Lions were playing last year, the year before that, and the year before that, who was right there with the camera, getting all those shots and going through the crowd. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, that was a fun experience. I got to do some shooting during the preseason, and then as the regular season comes on, I switch hats, and then I end up being an assistant to the head technical director down there. So that was cool, because I got to learn a lot of the ins and outs, and it's a grueling season. And then last year I did a lot more shooting for the pregame. And that was interesting, because there's a lot of ground to cover in Ford Field too. So there's a lot of things that we have to get together, pieces that we have to get done and edit it. And it's kind of like all a team effort. I mean, off the bat. A lot of their games last year were like 12 o'clock games. So that means I'm down there at 8 o'clock and I have to get my camera. Then once I get all that set up, then I have to get back downstairs by 9 o'clock to get the players coming in. And so now that I've got enough there in my internal timer, I'm like, okay, now I got to run that back upstairs and give that to the person so they can edit those. And that's those shots, those pre-shots you got like hours ago where you see the guys coming into the stadium with the headphones on or whatever. That was at that time. And then go down the list and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And it's like, so somebody was talking to me like, oh man, you get to go see the games. You get to be there. We're like, you know what? It's more work than you realize. And it's like, I don't even have the time. It's like, you hear a cheer and it's like, what happened? What? Oh, okay. And you back at it because you got this long list of stuff to do. So,
so with that's a great segue to my first question.
Okay.
And I know you can run rampant with this and I don't want you to get ahead of me, but let's start with some misconceptions about what goes on with a news station. And you know what? I will lead with one particular question. I've been waiting to ask this question since I knew you were coming on for the sake of my audience. So for years, we always complain about the fact that when you go out into the neighborhood and you say, we got to find somebody to find out what happened, what was going on? Did anybody see what happened? And it's seemingly more times than not, you don't get Harvard graduate with his degree and everything, saying this is exactly, the type of thing in the community that we, no, you get Pookie, you get Shanae with the shower cap. And why is it that we more times than not see somebody with their front two teeth missing, can't put a sentence together, or got that shower cap and a robe on?
Okay.
Talk to me.
I'll tell you. So, not all the time, but every once in a while you'll see that. And I was having this conversation with somebody and I said the same thing. I remember even before I got into biz, it was like, I was always wondering that. And you hear your family say like, yeah, that's right. And then you get into the news biz and then you realize what the real deal is, that it has nothing to do with not being conscious of this person's appearance. And maybe I should wait for the next person. Sometimes it really boils down to that was the only person up at that time of the night or whenever or around who saw what was happening, who can give you the information of what was going on. And it's like, sometimes it's like, man, you're in a rock and a hard place. It's like, oh man, I don't want to do wrong. Do you like that too? But you sure you want to run in real quick and just, change? Like, no, I'm good. I'll tell you right now. I was like, okay, all right. You sure? Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's knock out this soundbite, and you just gotta get it because that was the only person around. Half the time it's usually like that's pretty much the case because you were looking around. Sometimes it's a combination of folks that we get like all different types of folks that talk you up a lot. And they'll talk and it's like, cool. And you think in your mind, like, all right, cool, I got them now. And it's like, all right, cool. So yeah, if you want to just articulate that on camera for me, like, oh no, man, I don't want to talk. I'm like, oh man, we just sat here for like 10 minutes. You'd be great, So that's a waste of time. And then you get the person that will talk, but they are the person that's going to suggest somebody else, like talk to this person. Oh, talk to my friend, so that won't work. And then you get the person that you described, and it's like that's the only person willing to go on, knows everything that happened, and you just got to go with them.
All right, so just for clarity for folks that, just tuned in or might have been watching and not 100% sure, you are the guy that is primarily on location when something goes down, that they say, hey, Jeremy, something, there was just a fire or a shooting or, something, usually something, that's going to be of interest to the community that might have been, negative, because negative news is always, higher priority than the good news because we got to be aware of, of dangers around us.
Sure.
So you're the guy that actually goes into the trenches, if you will, and gets those shots and feeds them back to the station. So yeah, go ahead, respond.
And you're exactly right about that. There's we're covering everything from the good, the bad, and the ugly, and so we'll have like these whole list of things of you have your top stories, heartwarming, good things, and then we have moments like you said there where sometimes what we call them breakers, and something just broke, whether it was like, oh man, the Southfield Freeway northbound is shut down. Why? What happened? Oh, car flipped over or whatever. We got to hit that. And then that's why, that may take precedent. Like, okay, now you got to move something back a couple blocks down, or sometimes you have to throw that particular story into a whole nother show, depending on what happens. So it's a lot of run and gun, and it's a whole day full of that. And you got like a whole team that you got to keep track of who's where, what's going on. And it's been that, even like when the trenches in Midland, I'm forgetting, but the dam broke, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, it's a lot, because it's a long way to go, a long drive. And then once you get up there, then you have to like get your motivation back up to like work, and you got the weather and the conditions and so it's not always easy, you know what I mean? So yeah, a lot of variables.
So we got people checking in. I just want to acknowledge real quick. We had Stephanie from Florida checking in.
All right.
We got Tiffany Hayes Robinson from South Florida. My Florida folks is in the house. Whitney, she said you got her with that freeze thing. You act like you were frozen. And Sorrel Gaines is in the house. Mumford, class 85. Okay, let me calm down. Kirsten from Southfield is in the Heezy for Sheezy. And then Stephanie says that Shanae and Junebug always up late, and they see everything.
Chilling.
That's exactly how it is. Yeah. So yeah, we appreciate you guys bringing your comments. So you have to be ready to go out anytime, day or night. You want to respond to that?
No. We all have our different shifts. And so I would say I would have to be ready for anything once I get in, unless like today, for example, I already know what's on tap for Monday, because it's going to be opening day. And I got a text from our, producers and some things that we want to do, blah, 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 et cetera. Can we do this? Can we move your time up to this time? That is already set and etched in stone. But then there's a set schedule that I have that I come in that it's just like, okay, when you get here, there's a certain portion of our day that's just devoted to, let's just see what's going on. And that we're listening to calls that come in, tips that we get that come in, and you just got to roll with it too. So even like going back to that Midland thing, like I had no idea until that day. And it was like, it was like, it was like one of those moments that's like, man, if only I'd known, I would have got more sleep the night before. Cause then you gotta drive 2 hours, and it is what it is. Work up there for 6 hours and then get back another 2 hours, and you just got to do it.
Wait a minute. Where exactly is Whitney? Now, didn't she say she was, did I get her confused? She's in Texas. I thought she was in Florida.
Nope.
Maybe I'm getting my people confused.
That's my sister-in-law.
Oh, okay. She's in Texas. Okay. Yeah. She said she's the one who said that you got her. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's funny. Also, we got Damon Terrell checking in. Damon Terrell, we heard his music earlier. Yeah. I don't know if he was on, but we played you earlier, man. Yeah. The piece that you played for us was, well received and liked and everything. So you guys can send some love emojis up, for Damon Terrell. And I don't know if you could tell me what this means right here. What does that mean?
Saludos desde Chile. It's greetings from Chile. That's mi amigo.
Oh.
Saludos. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo te va?
Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to actually, walk through a little bit of, your day, show some footage, show some pictures and things like that. We're going to do that shortly after, a small little break, but we're not going to take the break just yet. I want to, talk a little bit more about, kind of things that you do, like, what goes on in the studio, because you work in the studio as well.
Yeah. So yes, not at the moment because of COVID.
Right.
So my responsibilities have changed, but before all this, going back, 5 months, I was a Steadicam operator in the studio. And so that's kind of all changed now. And so that now moved me back out. I would always start off with the morning show. We have our 6 a.m. show. Then we have the 8 o'clock show. And then I would go out and we'd shoot some stories with one of the anchors or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But now that's just all done with, like a lot of the stations all across the country. It first started with kind of social distancing right at the desk. you know, just getting a little, you go to that corner, I go to that corner. Then it was like, okay, now I'm going to be on this side of the studio, and then you be on way over that side. Then it's just like, you know what? Only one, you know, one person in the studio. You go up to another studio. We have another room that we can use, and then we have another room that we can use. And there you take 2 anchors, traffic and weather, and that's how we do it. And then kind of at that. And so as we kind of try to get back to some normalcy, maybe that'll kind of change. But for now, that's kind of like the new normal. But with that, kind of change the dynamic of how, you know, the photographers have to kind of carry ourselves and conduct ourselves as it relates to being in and around the station. So there were some adjustments from, you know, just being super more, you know, clean and practicing cleanliness, things like that. And even when we go out, you know, there's, you know, you're so used to just being able to walk with folks, and here's the mic, and you talking and laughing or whatever. Now it's like, okay, you got to do this, and here's the mic right here, and you're like, okay, yep, and then and then what happened? And you're like at an arm's length away doing that. But it's the norm. I mean, like the most common question we get now is like mask on or off, and we're like, whatever you feel, you know, how you feel comfortable or whatever, you know. So it's definitely different. Yeah.
Yeah. So how is that with the guys who are, you know, reporting from the studio? Because, you know, they're usually sitting right next to each other, but now we see some people at home. We see some people in the studio. Are they like in different parts of the studio? How's that working?
Yeah, we've got different parts of the studio. There's the one main studio that you see a lot of the newscasts being delivered from, but there's a lot more areas of the building that out of this or you know, since this has come about, has really put everybody's thinking caps on. You know, for maybe at one point that was just only used for like production, or whenever we need to put somebody in front of a green screen so we can get some new headshots or something like that. Now it really had to be creative. Everybody's creative bone had to come out like, okay, all right, let's put you up in that room, and then we'll put you over there. You know, we've got like weather centers and stuff like that, so it's doable. And then the other thing was, like you said, anything can be done from home. And even down to our interviews, like when that executive order came down and we were all like super high, you know, DEFCON 5, you know, quarantine, then that really pretty much solidified and by default made it so that we couldn't do interviews in person. So that meant that we did a lot of Zoom interviews, like a lot.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And that was just the status. That was the norm. The status quo was like, let me call you up. Do you have Zoom? Okay, you got FaceTime, Google Hangout. Okay, let's do that. And then do the interviews, and then record the interviews, and then we'll incorporate that into a story, and that's it.
So, all right. So I want to transition, and you tell us a little bit about, because if you're going out, and we're going back now to when you're going out in the field, which is what you do a lot of, and I want to know about what happens in these stressful situations, whether somebody's loved one just got shot, whether their house is on fire, you know, some bad thing has happened, and you're trying to get the raw, real, uncut version of the story while it's happening.
Right.
I would imagine that, you know, there are people who want to tell what happened because they want, you know, people to know that this is going on and we got to put a stop to it or whatever. But then everybody's not going to feel that way. So what's that like, you know, when you're in the midst of everything like that?
You know, there's a combination of things that fall under that umbrella. You've got the scenario where somebody died because of violence. Somebody died by accident. There's car accidents that fall in that category. Maybe it was a fire. Again, another loss. Now you've got family. This one common denominator is that you're approaching a situation where people's emotions are high, and they don't necessarily know what our MO is, and trying to come and tell the story. And sometimes they have already preconceived notions that, you know, if you're already like, I hate the news because of this, you know what I mean? Now you're really fighting an uphill battle at that point already. And you kind of have to just step back and just assess the situation to see what's going on. And it'll tell you real quickly what type of scene is going to be. So we're showing up, and a lot of times, you know, the police may dictate by the way they pull the tape where we can and can't go. And if no tape is up, then we kind of try to see how close we can get so we can get our shots. But at the same time, you also have to be cognizant of there's the family right there. Let's be respectful. And that's the first message that we always want to try to send, is that, we're just trying to be respectful of what happened. We understand what's going on. But it's hard because we are a television organization. It's not radio, you know what I mean? And we're visual. We need visuals to be able to supplement our story and be able to tell it, illustrate it. So there's a lot of times elements that we need, like a picture, you know what I mean? A couple of them to be able to say, and it's like, how do you ask that when this is so fresh? This just happened only like 8 hours ago, you know what I mean?
Right. Or
you can still smell the ash rising from the fire. Like, can you see that? It's totally demolished. How do you go about asking, for video, and things like that? These are things that will help tell the story that sometimes folks want to share, but it's just about getting there. That's not always hard. And then you have, sometimes scenes that it's just, you're just not going to win at all because everybody is irate. If, whether it's a young child or if it's, I just saw him. I was just with him yesterday, and then you got everybody rolling up, pulling up on the block, bending in the corner, coming over, and it's like, okay, so now you kind of have to like have your head on the swivel just to make sure, nothing pops off. Because everybody thinks that you're shooting them with the camera. Everybody does. You know what I mean? I can have the camera. One time I was like, man, don't point that thing at me. I was like, it's a tripod. I don't have it. He was like, but I'm just saying, don't point it at me. I'm like, what? And I'm telling you, so that's where you're like, okay, no problem, I got you. Let me just slide this back. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna jump in the car and I'm gonna leave. No,
I'm gonna be on my way.
On my way. I had to do that the other day. I was there was a party got out of hand, and no matter how much I was, using the King's English and very respectful, I'm back, and how you do. The first day out of the gate. Hey, my man, I jumped. I didn't even take the camera out yet. It's like all straight up though. I'm just telling you. I know you got a job to do, but you ain't trying to. Okay, no problem. I just need to get a couple shots. But I'm just saying, don't even. Right, you just got to keep explaining yourself. It's like it can get
wow.
It can get crazy sometimes. So then the number one is like I'm pulling up and I'm like, I don't see any flashing lights. So that police are done with their investigation, at least for right now. So that means that. I'm about to get up out of it, or whatever. There's nobody around.
All right, so I want you to get ready to tell me at least one, if not two, really interesting stories that you can share.
Yeah.
About incidents that you've had, encounters that you've had where it was either very scary, very funny. But just before you do that,
okay.
If you just joined us, I got Jeremy Johnson, Channel 7 Action News here in Detroit, Michigan. He is the photojournalist, meaning he is the guy who goes in with the camera in the heat of battle. Sometimes when there's great stories, nice stories. And he gets those pictures, he gets that video, sends that feed live back to the station sometimes. Sometimes he brings it in, edits it. And so he's giving us his perspective. The man who's normally behind the camera, we got the camera on him. So tell me, Jeremy, tell us what are, or at least one of those stories, if not two of those stories, where it was just like, take us there, man. We don't get that experience.
Well, I got one where, keeping with the theme of just tragedy. I remember one time, like years back, like when I first got there to the station, there was a scene that we had gotten to. And it was like one of those tight streets, if you were in Hamtramck or something like that. Like, well, you going down the street, you must, be prepared to and ready to just keep going that direction because there's no turning around. You can't go like this and go back the other way. So you're on there. So we got our spot, went to the side, and we knew we knew where the house was, and it became evident really quickly what was going on because everybody was congregating over there, and it was like a big issue about I think the matter had gone down where I think somebody had ended up getting shot and killed. And then it was everybody's understanding that the person across the street had something to do with it. And it was so crazy that because everybody's just going around, they telling their stories. Now you got, hearsay going on, you get hearing stuff secondhand, and then you could quickly just start to see like, okay, this is getting out of control. And it's like, you see the red cups coming out like, no, I can say something. That's my cousin. I can say something. I'm like, oh my God, so I'm like, okay, so we got our stuff and it got so crazy. Then a fight started to break out. But what happened was we were by our truck and there was another reporter from, one of the competing stations that was near us. We were just talking like we all often do sometimes, and then you see this break out. But her truck was way on the other side of the fight. She wasn't going to make it down that way. And people were just at that point. People, you see somebody moving and walking, you just grab them. You know what I mean? So it wasn't safe at all. We end up having to because we see that particular live truck from that competing station go around the corner because he calls himself, I think he's trying to try to meet up with us on the backside. We had to have her come into the truck, just like get in. She had to get in, and we had to kind of like wait because now our vehicle is kind of shaking, and we're trying to figure out a way out of this tight spot so we can just go down the street and just get out of here, just get off the block. We got everything we needed, but at this point, that fight breaking out dictated like, okay, you know what, this is over. We're done. We're done here. If we're gonna have to do live shots, we're gonna go to the police station and do it from there because it's too irate, And that's what happens that's what the whole thing I was talking about. Like at that point, the police weren't even there yet. You know what I mean? Or either they had come there and had already gone. And so, everybody had liquid courage going on, and it's like, man, you guys gotta be smart about it and just kind of just keep watching. And
you said liquid courage. I don't think I've ever heard that one.
I'm telling you. Yep.
Well, listen, I want to get to showing some of the footage from your day. You actually were gracious enough to film some of the things that you do throughout the day, how you get started in the morning and how you do what you do. So we're going to show a little bit of that right after this. Hey, everybody, Vince Eliot saying thank you for tuning in. Real quick, I wanted to invite you to become partners with us and contribute to our success. Our success is your success. One way that you can do that is by subscribing to our YouTube page, The Vince Eliot. Click on the notification so that you are notified when we go live or upload new content. Secondly, please share this broadcast with your family, friends, contacts, Craig and them, Cud and them, share with everybody. Lastly, you can contribute to the success of the broadcast with a financial contribution of only $1.25 a week, $5 a month, or $60 contribution for the year by using the Cash App information that's on the screen, $ live with Vince Eliot. So thank you for helping us to bring information, education, inspiration, motivation, and yes, a few laughs to the world. Oh. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, why are you just joining us? No, I'm just kidding. I'm Vince Eliot, and I'm on today with my guest, Jeremy Johnson, Channel 7 Action News, Detroit, Michigan. And he is the photojournalist for Channel 7. And he is, yes, I see Rhonda saying, Detroit is in the house. Yes, he's from Detroit, and he's giving us the inside scoop on what it takes and what goes on when he is doing the capturing of all the action that's going on in them there streets. So I'm gonna bring him back on, and he's going to. You know what I'm gonna do? I've got plenty of footage of you that you passed on to me. And I think you can talk while I'm showing these things. Okay. So if you can, when I start playing it, unmute your mic if you can and tell us what's going on. If not, because I just kind of blended some of these together just to be able to show. And if you can't unmute once I start playing it, then once it stops, you can just explain what was going on. Okay. There's a couple of them that you actually talk in. I want to try to see if I can maybe do them in order. So that, which I don't know because I kind of just group some of these together to be able to play them. So let's see what we got. Let's start with this one.
Okay, so this is early in the morning, like 5 a.m. and I'm just now making my way into the station. So this is 10 Mile. and we're getting ready to pass Lawrence Tech.
Channel 7.
Or approach it.
Action news.
Action.
So you're heading to the station.
I'm heading in, but this one may take a while because I believe that it took a while for. I don't know if you can skip past
to the station right now.
Oh, you're at the station now.
Well, I think it took a second. If this is the right day, if I'm thinking about it.
No, I remember this one. You
did I go straight through?
Yeah, you get right through. You don't wait long on this one.
Wait for him to let me in.
Oh, okay. All right.
Pulling into the station right now.
Yeah.
And
so real nice. We're right on the same property as the Word Network. So if you look to the left, that's WADL right there as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Our little 7 miles per hour speed.
7 miles per hour. Yeah.
All right. So.
And yep, and 910, the radio station is right there on that same property. And we have to go all the way to the back.
Neil Crosby kind of clowned you. He said, "Pick a lane."
I know, right? I know. That's how I do it every single time. I don't even care. I'm like, I'll just go everywhere, in and out.
He showed you some love. The Jeremy Johnson. This is Major.
Oh man. And see, it's a ghost town. You know, this is 5 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I love it. I love this time coming in and working at the time. So yeah.
All right. So here's another one. You're driving in and you're talking to us here.
Well, it's
you got to unmute if you want to talk.
5:10 in the morning, and I am
so this is
work.
Just me kind of describing them.
5:30.
I'll let myself talk.
Start my early morning shift. I already got a text already about an assignment or something that I need to check out. In this case, it's a possible accident on the east side. So I'm rushing into work now to load up my gear and get out the door, so to speak, as soon as possible, so I can get over to the east side and see what's going on, gather video, and hopefully information about the accident that happened over there, what happened, is there anybody hurt, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, so I'm rushing in now. I'm gonna load up my gear, then I gotta get over to the east side and start shooting. And most likely I'll probably end up feeding back video at the same time that I'm recording to my camera. I'm gonna feed back video to the station so that they have it in-house from my location on the east side. They can either turn that video around and use it in some capacity, or they could take my camera shot live if they wanted to and incorporate that in the show as well. So we'll see, but I'm almost to the station, so I will be there shortly, and then I'll start loading up.
Okay, so what that is that, you know, a lot of times at home, and I was telling you, everything is different. You know, the norm used to be that once I get to the station, I'm going inside, walking up to the assignment desk, having a conversation with the actual person. Hey, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. But now that things have changed, people are working from home. You get things are just different. You're getting your information a lot, even more quicker ahead of time, I should say. So what I was talking about there was a text that I got even before I left out the house. Hey man, we're hearing this coming across the scanner. Hey, we're getting tips that, you know, this is going on the east side. So when you get in and you start your shift and you get loaded up and ready to go, the first thing we need you to do is head over there, check it out. Here's the cross streets, blah, 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 blah. So that was an example of, I already knew what I had to do because I received the text. So I got going real quick, and then I was going in to start loading up and just go to the location that he sent me to see. And sometimes, you know, I get there, the scene is still there, and then maybe it was over by the time I get there. It depends. Yeah, and you bring up a good point. You know, things can change. So there are times where you say, you know what, we don't always show negative news. We want to show something positive. And you actually may be scheduled to go out to a particular location to film something that's positive. And go ahead, finish the story for me. Yeah, this is true, because a lot of times we'll have some things, you know, set up, but you know, we have to explain to people sometimes that, you know, I know what we said and we were on the way. We were all set up. The stars all aligned for us to be there to cover your event. But a barricaded gunman happened on the west side of the state. So we had to go, or, you know, we had to go to Livonia because, you know, somebody multiple car accident pile up, and sometimes we have to get that information out, and if we still can, we'll still also incorporate that original story that we were going to do into our shows at some point, shape, form, or fashion along the way, because you got 5 in the morning, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then you got noon show, and then you got your 4 o'clock, then you got a 5 o'clock, then you got 6, 7, you got a 10 and 11. So it's a lot of shows, but the day can change quickly. We'll have stuff on paper, and then something goes crazy, and it's like, oh man, and you just get in text. We got a breaker. So you just got to go cover it.
Yeah, I'm multitasking here, and so that skipping is my fault. Why things are skipping and freezing, because I'm processing some other material. Let's move into the next one real quick. You can remember to unmute once I start playing it.
Okay, so this is an example of a protest. So this is that same day. I was originally supposed to go to cover that accident, but then we got word that there was a protest. This protest was impeding buses from leaving.
I got all my gear, got my camera seated in this camera box.
This is some of the camera. This is my camera gear, rain gear. I have to bring that all the time. You never know what's gonna happen. This is my bag that I use. I keep all my gear, my batteries.
Extra batteries, cables, turnarounds, audio turnarounds, and things like that. Got my bricks, we call them, batteries. Yep. This is my assigned charger, Jay Johnson. Tripod, gotta have a tripod. And these days you gotta have a mic stand. This one I can fold out the legs if I want to and stand it up, or just kind of use it as an extender and just hold it out there like that and get sound bites so we can practice social distancing. So let's get to the east side.
So here I am across the street. You can see the protesters on the other side of the street. So the first thing I do is just kind of establish my shot. And we like to do everything. Even if we weren't in this state where we are now with the whole social distancing, I probably would have started out over here anyway, just to get some shots. I call them, candid shots, because, once people know you all up there, they don't know how to act. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's like they freeze up, and it's like, no, just keep doing your normal thing, So I stay over. We know that's why we got zooms, times 2x zooms on our lenses. So there's that. I'm just adjusting my light now, just in case I need to do it. I cut my mic on right away.
That looks like something. No, I stopped that one.
Yeah.
Okay, that looks like a piece of the other one. And then this is a real short one. We'll show this one, then we'll get into some pictures real quick.
Sure.
You got to unmute again every time I start a new one.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, so this is the march across Belle Isle, the MacArthur Bridge here. And so this is right around time of the death of George Floyd. So you had a lot of people that came together to come out. We were doing live shots this day. And we have a live unit that we use, that we hold. Here I am, just kind of right as it's getting ready to get started.
That's getting ready to start
So
right now.
This is right at the beginning.
That large group has formed and come out in support of the injustices.
So this was something cool. We get to see and do a lot of different things.
And that happened to George Floyd.
This is just one of those
this is a peaceful protest, a large
pieces of history that was awesome to be a part of.
You can see.
This
crowd is ready to walk
Yeah.
across the MacArthur Bridge. And
it's a long day. You gotta find parking, and then once you're there, you're walking the length of the bridge. So you better eat your Wheaties and put your PS flyers on, and that's it. And you're just walking backwards, and So I was actually assisting another one of my coworkers that day. He was shooting. He was right there on the ground there, and so I was just helping him. I was his eyes and ears. So yeah.
Okay, so. So in a way, I guess you could look at that as a positive, a positive shoot.
I guess so,
all right, so I'm gonna run through a few pictures. I don't know if you'll have to unmute your mic on the picture.
Okay, I'll check.
I want to start with a young Jeremy photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that young guy. How old were you right there?
I don't even know, man. That wasn't even that long ago though. That was maybe surprisingly, that was maybe 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. So,
wow.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to say you look old now. I'm just saying you just look a lot younger right there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. What a difference a day made.
All right, so we got a question coming in. Tiffany says, what do you enjoy most about your job?
I like that there's variety. I like that you get to do something different pretty much every day. I mean, like every job, you have your ups and downs, but this is one job that allows you to see a lot of different things that normally under normal the normal average person wouldn't see in a normal job. So I mean, from some behind the scenes of certain, you know, high intense police moments to sporting events, which is really awesome, to just people coming in as guests to the station. Sometimes, you know, sometimes you just there on the right day and it's like, oh my God, is that such and such, you know, and it's like, you just never know what you're going to get. And then you get to see some cool things sometimes too, because, you know, there's a lot of people that have a lot of great events going on. They need, you know, the media to help them get the word out there and to be used as a platform. So that's another way, you know, you get privy to a lot of stuff. So, you know, it's just the variety.
Man, Spike Lee got a chance to meet you. What in the world is going on? I know that would have to be a special day for him.
I know. Yeah. He's like, man, oh, it's Jeremy, you know. Yeah, he got like an honorary doctorate from U of M that day. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. That's you in the studio.
So yes, me with the Steadicam. Yeah. So I've got that whole harness on. I got to wear that. So yeah.
And who was that?
This is Nicole Murphy. She was in town promoting the new business that she had just started. And so I don't even know. I was doing a whole bunch of other stuff that day. And then they were like, you know, she's going to be in town. And so could you go over and get an interview with her? And so, you know, that's how it happened. It was just really random. That wasn't on my to-do list. So, you know, it just happened.
That guy looked familiar.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's IQ. He was in town promoting his, you know, everybody knows the Big Three basketball league. So he came in and he was just making his round. Whatever you want to call it, the press junket or whatever. So, you know, he made his way to us and then the other station and so on and so on and so on. So yeah. Yep.
Who we got there?
That is Christina Milian, and she was promoting, I believe, perfume or jewelry that she has. And so she came in and she was in town and really nice. She came in and we did a segment in our morning show. Yeah, Michelle Tafoya. So Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. So yeah, so yeah.
And that's that was before COVID.
I'm telling you, before COVID, man. That was so long ago. I don't even know if I remember how to do the Steadicam now, man. Good Lord, yeah. So
and that's COVID right now.
That's the contrast for you right there.
Yeah.
We do our, you know, we have to ask the families, and in this case, they elected. And as you can see on the side of my face, you know, we all got our mask on. I got my mic there, and then once we're done, I have them. Okay, you guys want to take a couple of feet back? I go retrieve the microphone and the stand, and it's different.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, so we got a question for you.
All right.
Question from Stephanie is: how long is an average work day for you?
Typically, so everybody is supposed to be, you know, typically it's 8 hours, with this one caveat is that just be prepared for it to be extended at any given moment because of whatever just popped off. And depending on your schedule, but typically that happens to I would say our day-siders and our night-siders. So these are the people that come in at like 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. And so, you know, that allows you to be in the 5 o'clock at the very least. But if it's like the story of the day, everybody's been talking about it. Be prepared. They may want you to stay and do a live shot at 6. And so, we're channel 7. So no other. So we will of course have a show at 7 o'clock, but no other station does. So then that's even longer. We want you at 5 and 6 and 7. So yeah.
Oh wait a minute. There's another COVID.
Yes. I'm telling you. And so we did. This one is in our breezeway. That's our morning anchor, Keenan. And we sometimes help out our sister station. So one of our sister stations is in Grand Rapids. So they'll reach out to us just like we did before. Like, hey, man, you know, you guys are already up there. Can you send us video? Great. Hey, you guys are in Detroit. Can you send us video? So in this case, they wanted him, since he was in the area, to do, instead of sending one of their people down, could your anchor do a live hit for us? And so that's what we were doing that day.
Oh, okay. So a team effort.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I have a question. If somebody wanted to get into that news world, you know, let's say let's speak to what you do. You know, maybe they're an editor. Maybe they don't do camera. Maybe they do they do camera. What are the qualifications? What's the ease of entry? What do they need to know? What would you tell them to do first?
I would say just get a lot of practice at shooting, a lot of practice at editing, and one of the things that I found out is you have to be really good at and fast at being able to put stories together. But another part about it is that you have to be creative too, because you'll get somewhere and you gotta think sometimes, like, how can I shoot this? How can I be creative? How can I tell the story? Because it's not just the reporter, it's a team effort, and both of you are telling a story. This person is telling a story through the way they're going to write it, through the sound bites that they're going to pick. And you're telling it through the way you're shooting it, you know what I mean? The angles, the composition, you know what I mean? And if it's boring, if it doesn't move, if it doesn't have a flow, you're gonna lose somebody, or it's just gonna look like, you just kind of like wallpaper and slap that bad boy together, you know what I mean? So, and sometimes there's some days that are like that, where you just don't have a much time to do much with it. And that's understandable. But when you got time, that's going to really set you apart from folks like, man, this guy can shoot. He's a great editor and things like that. Because you got to remember, you're like with these folks, you're around each other for 8 hours too. So you want to be like the triple threat. There's a triple threat in entertainment, but then there's also a triple threat here. Awesome personality. You can shoot, creative, just it's fun to be around. And that's going to get you far in this business too. But that was something I had to learn real quick. Like I was at FSN working before I got here at Fox Sports. Okay. And I knew some of the things that they needed, and I didn't have a lot of experience shooting. Yes, but that's like I had to get my chops up with editing, because I knew that in the news business, that's what they were going to need. And it's pressure sometimes, because if you think about it, even like people that come in at 10, these some stories that have been developing since like 8 o'clock. And okay, let's put our 10 o'clock reporter, and we want you to get loaded up, get gas, get from Southfield to wherever the location is, get out and assess the situation and get enough information, whether it's police on the scene or somebody's gonna talk to you, enough to be able to, okay, let me work something and be ready to go by noon. It can be pressure, to turn that around.
So Tiffany says, very interesting. She worked behind the scenes scheduling the commercials for the advertisers at WSFL, formerly WBZL in Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale area. Okay. You do get to meet some great people.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I wonder if Tiffany is still working in that industry, or she moved on to something else. Maybe she'll answer that in the chat. And so, I've had my, interaction with, news folks, and, with doing production. A lot of times I have to send the commercials that we produce to the station and interact with the folks there. And it's got to be in a certain format and all that type of thing. So if you don't like production, you might just be like, yeah. But those of us who are geeks, like production, behind the scenes, or people who are just interested to know how that stuff works, this is gold. So if you're in the comments, if you're in the chat and you want to get a question or comment in, you better get it in quick, because we're about to wrap up here shortly. I'm just going to show a couple more pictures or something real quick that you can respond to, and let people give just a stall to give people a chance to ask another question or give some comments and things like that. What do we have here?
This day I was called to 96 and Newburgh, and this was on the service drive, and it was said there was an issue with the water, water main broke. And we've seen water main breaks before, but this one took out a huge chunk. If you go to another picture in that same folder, I'm not sure if you have it uploaded. Maybe not.
Yeah, I didn't see another one in there.
Oh my goodness! It's a huge. If you find it, if you have a moment, we may not have time, but you can kind of get an idea of it. But that bad boy is like the size of a pool. It was 12 feet long, deep actually, and it was so wide. But it was just a whole bunch of water.
I do know that picture you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So at any rate, we know I have to get there and get shots. And in this scenario, you're not going to ever talk to city workers, but it's more so about getting there to get shots to be able to supplement the report that we're going to do later, which was, hey, and earlier today, a water main breaking, broke in Newburgh service drive. Please avoid the area. Crews are still out trying to repair it. So, be mindful of that area. Boom. And while they're saying all this copy from the desk, they're showing my pictures that I shot like an hour ago or whatever.
That's how it works.
Yep. unless so you have your already pre-taped stuff, but then there's and that's another misconception too, because a lot of times I have to draw people's attention to distinguishing between live and not live. You know what I mean? So you can always tell if you don't see live, it's not live. And then there's times where you see the live where the person is live and whatever, but then you see that live drop out. Well, this is because now we're into the piece. Some of the pieces that you've ran in here too would be an example of, okay, drop the live, but because we're not on a person that's out live and about. This is already a prepackaged story that we did already. But once that story is over and that person comes back on camera to do the close, the tag, the sig out, whatever you want to say, then boom, that bug comes back up. And then there's other stories that go throughout the newscast where you'll never see that live, because again, these were events that maybe happened throughout the course of the day, and now we're just telling you about them and giving you updates on stuff that's to come, stuff that happened already, stuff that's on the horizon, for next week or whatever, things like that. So
yeah, I tried to pull up that picture. For some reason it didn't load properly. I did it twice, and it's just not loading properly. I did see what you were talking about. And then go ahead.
Well, if you want to see the picture, it's on my Facebook page, Jeremy Johnson, and you can just scroll down. You'll see. I usually document, so everything he's showing now is stuff that I usually just post on Insta and Facebook all the time. And but the rest of those pictures and video, you got to go check it out on my Facebook page, and you'll be able to see. Like, I got up close, and you can see like deep down, like is that China? Is that China? So it was a big hole. Yeah. Okay.
So Tiffany says she still does some commercials and jingles with one of her coworkers who owns his own production company. Oh, nice. Okay. Nice. I'm always looking to network with folks. I run my own production company. I've been doing voiceovers for over 30 years. And I don't say that to just sell me, but sometimes I look for other talent to be able to pay and work with me if they can work remotely, or if they're local and we can do something together. So yeah, I'll throw up my email for you to reach out and just maybe exchange some information. And then this is also email for anybody who has anything that they need to reach out to me for. It's thevinceeliot@gmail.com, and just make sure you spell it right there, because there's an E in the Vince, and then there's an E at the beginning of Elliot. So don't just put one E in there. And then you really want to get it right when you put that Cash App deal for the Live with Vince Eliot. That's what you want to do. And then, of course, I'm going to do a shameless plug and say that you can also support this show by going to the GoFundMe page and search for The Vince Eliot. And if you all only knew how not like me that is, you would know how uncomfortable it is for me to have to let you guys know that we need your support to keep doing this show. There's equipment and things that we need to upgrade to make this show even more engaging, entertaining, informative. There's just a lot of behind the scenes expenses, and I would hate to stop doing this, and we're just gaining momentum. But what I find out, and this is the last thing I'll say about it, is what I find out is that I get a lot of people personally who say, man, I love what you're doing. It's excellent. You put it together so well. I want to support it. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, great. And then either they forget, or I don't know what happens, but you would be amazed. I will look, and this is not a slam. I'm just being real with you guys, transparent. I will look to see how many people watch the show, and sometimes it might be 300, 600, 900 people by the time we replay it a few times. And I'm getting great comments, and we're saying support the show, and you would be shocked to know that less than 1% are actually supporting the show. So that means if 1,000 people have seen it, not even 10 people have given $5. And again, I hope that doesn't sound like I'm slamming my audience, because I understand people, if you can't do it, you can't do it. But you can share, you can subscribe to the YouTube page, you can do those things. But I just want to make you guys aware. Don't think somebody else is doing it. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying that. I'm not saying that to badger people. I'm saying a lot of times people think, oh, they got plenty. They doing all right. Somebody else will do it. My $5 is not going to make a difference. Not so. Imagine if 100 people give $5 to the Cash App or to the GoFundMe. That really goes a long way. That can buy that mixer equipment or whatever, that software. So enough about that. So yeah, guess what? Stephanie Stephanie's and Tiffany are sisters. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what's going on there.
All right.
So, yeah, guys, it's time to wrap this thing up. You know, I'm gonna give you the last word, and we're gonna go out on the song on the music that I like to go out on. That's what I like to go on. I love that music right there. So listen, folks, it's been great. Jeremy, thank you again for coming on the show, man, and sharing with us what your work day is like. You know, and I don't even know, you know, I put it like this. When I'm doing what I love, it's not, I mean, it can be tedious, but man, this is the greatest feeling in the world. I do voiceovers, I do production, and sometimes it can be tiring and exhausting, but I wouldn't trade it in for a 9 to 5. I mean, I shouldn't say a 9 to 5. If I was doing a 9 to 5 doing what I love, I'd still love it. So I wouldn't trade in to do something that I don't want to do, is what I mean to say. So you got the last word, go for it.
I totally agree. I just want to say, appreciate you having me on the show. It's been an awesome experience. This was awesome, the first one. Out the gate, I've watched the show. I'm a long time watcher, and it was just awesome to be on here. I appreciate everybody's interaction, and yeah, I mean, you know, just thumbs up, number one all around. Y'all support, got to support. Come on, y'all. Yeah.
Let's see what we got in the comments before we get out of here. Let's see. No problem. We know it's business and not personal. You need funding. We understand. Thank you, Stephanie. Tiffany says this is awesome. She also says great show. And Stephanie says thanks so much, Jeremy, and watch out for Bebe Nim on the streets. Bebe ain't no joke.
That's right. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so thank you guys again for participating with your comments, with your questions. Share. And go to YouTube. If you haven't done it already, go to YouTube, search for The Vince Eliot. Subscribe, because it's going to come to a point where I'm not going to be doing them live on Facebook. It's going to be strictly on YouTube. And that's just another avenue for us to be able to monetize with sponsors and things like that, so that we can keep the show going and I don't have to say, please send money, please. All right, folks, that's it. And I'm going to leave you with the same word that I just left you with, which is how you can support the show. And it's not always just about money. It's different ways that you can give your support. Damon says, I will give something. You know, all right, y'all heard it. Damon Terrell said he's going to give something. And Flair says, yes, support independent work like this is what she's saying. So I will transition into that as, oh, wait a minute. You know what I didn't do? I'm just going to play a little of this for you all real quick, because I know a lot of you all came in late, and I want you guys to check this out. So in the beginning of the show, you know, I do the countdown so you guys can get a chance to come on. And if you didn't see it, you're going to have to go see the replay. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I just want to get you guys to see a sample of what I played. And I want to start doing different things for the countdown, so you guys be encouraged to come on early. This is what we did today during the 5 minutes before 8 o'clock, 7:55. We did a countdown, and just watch for a few seconds. Something's going to change. Wait a minute. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, come on. Get it. Oh, there it is. There it is.
They ain't ready. Yep. He letting them have it.
Hit him with a move. Where you going? I love that move right there. Now watch this right here. We're breaking it down.
He killing it.
Oh. What? All right, you're gonna have to see the replay to see the rest of the moves.
That's right.
And I'm gonna give it away a little spoiler alert for you all who didn't see it. There's actually another character that comes on before the countdown is out. So you guys gotta see the replay to check that out. What are people saying? Let's see. Tiffany loves it. Quan, I don't know if she just came on all late, but we about to go off now. So you was you're gonna have to catch the replay. So with that being said, thanks again, Jimmy. Thanks again, Jeremy. I appreciate you. You guys, 3 ways to support. You're about to hear them right now. And actually, you can not only go by what you're going to hear here, but on GoFundMe, search for the Vince Eliot. Listen, I'm going to say this one more time. No amount is too small. So if you do $5 or you do 500 or 5,000, it's all good. Every dollar counts. I ain't mad at you if you put $2 in there. Do something, and you can help us to go a long way. I'm just looking at these comments. I'm trying to let y'all go, but Flair said, break it down. Stephanie says, you killing it. Yeah, Quan, look at, she just confessed. She just got on late. You got to watch the replay. All right, folks, that's enough for tonight. We will see you next week. Same time, same station, same bat station. And I'm going to start advertising something really special next week. Really special. We're going to have a special episode, not coming up next week, but you're going to hear about it. It's going to be extremely special episode. It's going to be something that is going to be empowering. It's going to help people in a major way who are dealing with some major, I don't want to give it away yet, but it's going to help some people. You're going to want to reach out to some people who can use this help. And so you'll hear more about that as the time gets closer. In the meantime, that is all. Love you. We are out.